Is this thing on? He actually signed that. That's awesome. He's still doing it. All right, just going to wait for the slides to get up here. Can he follow me around after? I love this. All right, so if you've been on the internet in the last, I don't know, 10 years since its existence, you've seen a headline like this. How the internet's destroying our lives, it's making things less meaningful, and it's really just like deteriorating the quality of our lives. And as much as I would like to tell you that these came from like Joe Schmo down in his basement who's writing evil internet propaganda, unfortunately, these come from some of the most credible sources worldwide. So today, I'd like to explore a question with everyone. And the question is, what if real-time technologies could make us more social and teach us more than traditional learning methods? And I'd like to explore this question with 3 stories. The first of which is a peer-to-peer marketplace. The second one is about meeting my personal idol. And the third one is how these things have resulted in my own learning process. So let's go to this first one. I got my job on the internet. This past fall, I was sitting in class. It was just a regular class, regular old policy class. Yeah, everyone takes policy classes. And I'm sitting there with my best friend, and we're on our computers. And we're sitting there, and we're looking things up on the internet as we're in class. And in the middle of his lecture, our professor stops. He points at us, and he says, "What are you doing?" Well, we started to explain to him, we're on the internet. It's this thing. It's pretty cool. You can do stuff on it. And he cuts us off mid-sentence. And he says, "Don't you know you're not going to get a job on the internet?" Whew! If I could think of one thing I wouldn't want to say to 2 internet-savvy kids, it's probably that. So here we are, we're sitting in class, we're on our computers, and we go to our favorite social network. And what we did was we started tweeting to local people around the area with this hashtag, "I got my job on the internet." More just out of curiosity, were we the only 2 people in the entire central New York area who got their jobs on the internet? No way. So we started having this conversation, and it was really cool. By the end of class, it was campus-wide, and just the surrounding area was the greater central New York area, and we were participating in this awesome discussion in real time. And just as we were getting ready to pack up and leave this class, we saw this get picked up out in the western half of the state. And then, like, as we're walking out of the classroom, learning's supposed to be over, we see it pick up down here. And it was really awesome. We had this conversation happening statewide because of some jackass professor we had. I said it. So we get home. We think this thing's over. We get home. We're just relishing in the fact that this dude's kind of getting it stuck to him by us. So we get home, and this thing took off. And it was awesome. And it wasn't just us having this statewide discussion anymore. Now we were moderating, facilitating, and participating in this peer-to-peer marketplace where nationwide we were sharing stories about getting jobs on the internet. We heard good stories, we heard bad stories, and we heard stories of extreme success, and it was awesome. It was really cool to be a part of this thing. No longer were we just 2 students sitting in a classroom. We were now facilitators of this nationwide conversation. So, next up. Yep, I got my job on the internet. So, next up, this is Steve Jobs. You might know him. He started this small little company. They were kind of successful. He told this story during his life that when he was 12 years old, he was looking for a specific piece. And at this point in time, HP was still a hardware producer. And he picked up the phone book, and he called up Bill Hewitt of Hewitt and Packard. Casual. And so after a 2-hour conversation on the phone, they would talk far more about than this little piece. He got to know Bill Hewitt. They exchanged information, and at 12 years old, Steve Jobs got a job at HP. And he said this was one of the most transformative conversations of his life. This is part of what sparked his interest in electronics. Well, I had a hero too. But unfortunately, phone books don't really work anymore. Stop dropping them off on my doorstep. Let me introduce you to my hero. My hero is Dennis Crowley. You might know him as the co-founder of Foursquare. We're very proud that he's a Syracuse U graduate. And right now, I believe he's number 5 on GQ's Worst Dressed Men in Silicon Valley. with that photo, repping Cuse. So I figured I was coming down to New York. I really wanted to meet Dennis. But if I was on this tree and Dennis was at the top of this tree, I'm probably somewhere way off the island. So I did everything I could. I tried. I went to the professors at the I school to see if I could get in touch with him, if I could have a meeting with him, pick his brain. Nothing. I even went so far as to click the Contact Us link. Don't do that. It doesn't work. I got an email back saying, hey kid, that sounds cool. Have fun with your project. Dennis is busy. So I'm on my way down. I don't like that answer. I turn to Twitter again, and I tweet at Dennis, hey, I'm going to be in town with my friends. Is there any chance we can pick your brain and just mule over things? Nothing. Nothing. He responds, I couldn't get back quicker. He says he'll meet up with us. He tells us where. Boom, we're there. So the next day we get to meet Dennis, and it's incredible. We talked about the good times at Syracuse, the silly times, the times that no one really remembers. We talked about how he and Naveen met and when they started taking silly pictures like this. We talked about the future of hardware. But mostly we talked about Foursquare. And we were able to pick his brain about how did you get this idea? How did you scale this idea? How did you turn it into a company and not just a product? And all of a sudden we had a mentor. We had a real teacher who's really doing it, really helping us. Dennis's main message to us is one that I really took to heart: build. Dennis said to us, build, build, build. Build now, build for yourself, build frequently. And we really took this message to heart. And in fact, we took it so literally. We started a company with a hard hat as its logo. This is Little Tinker. And we're three college kids. We just started a company, just met Dennis. What do three college kids with tech talent in a company do? They make the first Twitter-based drinking game. It's really simple. It's really simple. You tweet drink up, the sound of a can opening plays, and you take a drink. People in France were playing it upwards of 20 minutes. They can really hold their liquor over there. Here in America, it was only 6. Who knows? But this got picked up by the Next Web, and it was really cool because it was just something we made in our dorm over a 6-pack. But all of a sudden, it was no longer just something we were doing with our friends. When the Next Web picked it up, it blew up. Drink Up was global. It was really cool. We saw tweets in all Chinese with just the hashtag Drink Up, and it was awesome. No longer were we just these 3 kids sitting in a dorm getting drunk together. We were 3 kids sitting in a dorm getting drunk with the entire world. It was really cool. But this was awesome and all, but we wanted to really challenge ourselves. We wanted to build something awesome, something experiential, something that takes the digital world and brings it local. How do you do that? Well, you saw Nexus, and Nexus is doing some really cool things. But the thing is, when you walk into the Nexus office, a lot of it's digital. You don't know what you're going to experience when you walk in. So we had this idea to take their logo and make it into a gumball machine. The catch is, when you check in, out the bottom pops a gumball. So you're taking this ordinary, regular check-in, and all of a sudden it becomes something extraordinary. There's a story you can share. Now this is way more difficult than making a Twitter-based drinking game. And for months we tried to figure this out, and we tried to figure this out. And I'm really happy to say we did it. It works. And it's really cool. You check in, it's not going to have duct tape on it when it's installed, I promise. But it works. It really works, and it's really cool. And because of the internet, we were able to learn the skills and the things we needed to make this happen. So how do we bring this all together? We asked the question, what if real-time technologies could teach us more, make us more social than traditional learning methods? Well, they can. And the great thing is these devices have allowed us to become so interconnected that we can exchange in a peer-to-peer marketplace. We can go out and find real mentors. And we can learn new skills, transliterative skills, where we're able to do multiple things with zero knowledge coming into it. And the idea is you can set your own goals, you can go out, you can achieve those goals, and then in real time you can get feedback on those goals. And that's authentic learning. And before I leave you here, I want to leave you with my favorite quote, which I think the internet makes so real, and that is, don't let your education get in the way of your learning. Thank you.